Okay, we are live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Set the mood. Yes. Welcome. Joining in the live. It is time. I've had probably my last meal for the year today. So I'm looking forward to getting into the fasting, the meditation, the quiet time. We've arrived. It is here. Yes. Well, it's exciting. Tonight, I don't plan to be on that long. I hope that we can wrap this up in maybe 20, 30 minutes. I really just wanted to come on as promised to talk about, really review some things, some basics on fasting, some things that I have talked about before, and just really prepare you to to get into this space. And we'll review the winter solstice, we'll review fasting. I may plan to come on because I really want to also follow up my last talk about the meditation piece. It was very powerful. I want to really give some more time for myself to do a noteworthy follow up to that. Again, that was my favorite. Actually, right after I finished that one, I actually watched it again in its entirety, just for myself. I was so inspired, and it was so powerful. It was emotional. It was emotional. And one of the things when we really understand our emotions, and how when we start to bring an awareness and a higher consciousness to the direction of our emotions, that's when we tap into unbelievable power. Okay, so we're gonna hold off on that till the next talk that I give, because during these next 2-3 weeks, as we go into 2024, I would like to just come on more often. Normally I come on once a month, maybe once every other month, depending on the season, but this is the season where I really like to be more present on here. Really just give inspiring messages and information. So, and then also I just want to also, the last one I did on cryptocurrency, that was really good too. Gotten a lot of good feedback from that. I hope that you learned something from that, and especially as we move into 2024. It's going to be a very powerful year. We're going to see a lot of things, a lot of shifts take place. 2024 is an 8-year from a numerology standpoint. 8 is supposed to be the number of power and money. So that's going to be interesting to take note. Also, it's also the Chinese year of the dragon. February, it's like the first or second week of February. We go into the year of the dragon. The dragon is a very mystical animal, very, very powerful, brings a lot of festivities and energy. Um, last 12 years ago, last year, the dragon, that was my sort of my coming out party for my business. So it was it was a shift for me personally, and I expect more of the same for myself this coming up year. So it's something to be really excited about. But this particular time, these next 2 to 3 weeks, is what I call creation time, because this is the dark energy. This is the dark matter. This is where the moon and Venus in particular, moon and Venus are beautiful night stars. Um, Venus being the star responsible for our imagination and creativity. Okay, and then the moon is responsible for our feelings and emotions. So bring in the feelings and emotions with creativity and imagination. uh, a, it's a wonderful recipe. A wonderful recipe when we bring all of this information in synergistically for our new year, with love, with hope, with faith, with uh, just high positive vibes. And we're fasting on top of that. How could you not win? How could you not have nothing but success when you're creating all of this good vibe karma in the strongest time of the year for creation? That's what this time is more than anything. It is the strongest time of the year for creation. Creation always starts from within. An artist always sees the art in his or her mind before anyone else sees it. So, what art are you trying to paint and create for yourself for next year? Because this is the midnight hour. We are approaching midnight for the year. So this is not an opportunity to waste in the way of doing all the things where you miss it. It's almost like, I give the analogy all the time, it's equivalent to staying up all night and hoping to be high energy, hoping to be good for the next day. So if we really give ourselves this extended rest, so it's not just with the food, it's also with media, it's also with exercise, it's with work. So fasting. Well, I'm just gonna share like what I'm gonna do, and I could talk about fasting in general. My plan over the next 3 weeks, we can break this up into 3 weeks, um, and everybody can sort of custom tailor how they would like to do it. I will highlight some specific dates within this 3 week time period. So this first week is really just preparation, and for me, I will. I'm going to be doing juices, fresh juices, and smoothies as well. So when I say smoothies, the smoothies can include things um, like fruit that's maybe not juiceable, like mangoes, papaya, bananas, even coconut. These things, have fiber, of course, and they're blended versus juiced and even strained. Also, your fresh nut milks. um I mean, your nut milks are, when you squeeze them out, if you have a bag, you can squeeze out the pulp, just to get the water or the milk from the nut when you blend it with your water. But for me, what I'm planning to do is really, for this whole next week, is to just basically do the juices and smoothies, and then going into week 2, just juices. So I'm gonna eliminate the smoothies, and then for the actual solstice time, I'm gonna actually probably just limit it to coconut water. So for those 4 days, just coconut water, um, and then probably reintroduce the juices, starting, after the solstice. So the solstice being the 21st to the 24th. And again, energetically, that is the darkest time. So once we come out of that on Christmas Day, the sun starts to build this energy. It is the birth of the sun. So we want to be in spiritual rhythm with the birth of the sun. We don't want to necessarily look at it as the event or the birth of a man. It's the birth of this man, for, in a high, deep spiritual way. So we want to have our food in line with that, in terms of how we eat. We want to bless this vessel. This vessel is a gift. Yes, I do call it the beast. When it's out of control, and we're letting it lead versus it being led, then it's the beast. Because then it takes control. These are all the things I talked about on the last one, on meditation. I believe I entitled that video. If you haven't seen that video, you definitely want to watch that. Again, it's my personal favorite of all time, and I've been doing these videos for a long time. So yeah, definitely check that out. But yeah, we want to nurture the the spirit self, the divine self, and fasting is the best way to do that. At least one way to do that. But I feel like it's the foundational way to feed our soul, to feed our higher guide, to feed our spirit. Okay, so yeah, so we really want to limit our activity as much as possible during these next couple of weeks, even if you're still eating. But we want to limit the food. The food is the foundation, because again, that's the highest energy consumer, is the digestion of food. So how are we trying to grow, elevate, ascend to our highest self if we're just wearing out the digestive system, when the digestive system wants and needs and loves to have a rest? I mean, just like we love to have rest every night, our digestion wants that break too. And even though it may not feel like that, because it's like, wow, I'm hungry, feed me. No, we need to be in control, because either the beast is in control or the divine self is in control. And we use these periods. So for me, using fasting as a lifestyle, a way of life, this is the time I feel that once you get into the rhythm, you get into incorporating fasting as a way of life, there should be a time during the year. Once a year, you do an extended fast, more than 7 days. And for me, this is that time. This is the time for my body to anticipate, because that's what begins to happen. Food just is not as enjoyable. Eating becomes even more of a chore. These are signals to tell you your body's like, it's not, it's not that the food is not good. In fact, we often, again, when the beast is in charge, we looking for higher and different ways to stimulate the palate, because what you may be used to is like, oh, stale and bland. So the thing is that that's a signal to say you got to go in the other direction and stop eating, so that food becomes, you don't even have to do much to the food to really truly enjoy it. Like it should take very little, even as a chef, you bring the ingredients together in a nice, balanced, magical way. Everybody loves that. Everybody can appreciate uh uh a balanced, bringing together of the food, bringing together of the different elements of the recipe. But oftentimes, when we're eating day in and day out, we never give the body a rest, we never give the body a break. And in the palate, the food becomes a monotonous chore to eat. And then because the beast is in charge, we're like, all right, well, I want to eat something different. And it just keeps you going down this path, down this hole of just wanting, needing to overstimulate the palate. So this is that time to destimulate. This is that time to really, recharge the body on all levels. So yes, and then even aside from bringing in the creation, bringing in the meditation and the visualization and all the beautiful and wonderful things that you want to have happen in this next calendar year. We want to basically be able to also understand that we want to also incorporate, possibly level up on the diet. So if you're like battling with the raw and saying like, okay, you want to go all raw, this is probably the year for you to do that. This is definitely the best time to level up for here. That's going to doing it and enjoying doing it. So that's going to be important. I mean, at the very minimum, I'm a strong advocate of one meal a day. I mean, every day can be an opportunity to say, it's like, I don't need to eat today. Actually, I'm going to just do a smoothie for dinner. I'm going to just do a small salad for dinner. I'm just do juices all day. I'm gonna do a smoothie for dinner. I'm going to do some juices for dinner. I'm going to do a nice raw soup. These are the sort of the ways that we can really preserve our vitality. Really, as I talked about longevity, I feel very strongly that our longevity is connected to how often and how much we eat. I feel as though we get a certain amount of meals per lifetime. And it's like, if we're eating constantly around the clock, Again, we're not children, and if we continue to eat 3 meals a day, even 2 meals a day, with snacks, it's like we're racing to the finish line, and the finish line is death. But if we had the mindset that we get 50,000 meals in a lifetime, maybe it's 100,000. It's like, how often would you eat if you knew for a fact that the amount of meals you consume over a lifetime is going to have a direct correlation to when you expire, or when this beast expires? I think we would. I think most people would want to space them out. So at the very minimum, um, I mean, how many meals are you eating per week? I say we eat 1 meal a day, and not every day. It should be at least one whole day where there's no meals, or even if it's a smaller meal or a smoothie. This is the leveling up process. Most, if not all, sicknesses and setbacks and diseases happen as a result of the body just being backed up, and the elimination channels have gotten backed up. So now it's using the organs, the internal organs, and the cavity, the chest cavity. So you got the mucus developed in the chest cavity. You got the mucus developed in the brain, or wherever the lymph and the blood and everything can travel, and however how your body chooses to deal with the overload is how it's going to result. So it's like the remedy is like, give the body a chance to catch up with the because it's not everybody's looking for something else to consume, when the answer 9 times out of 10 is stop consuming. Even if you are eating all raw salads, we're still doing two. We just got this consume, 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 and we just need the body to a chance to catch up. So this is catch up for the whole year. These next 2-3 weeks, whatever you choose to do. Yes, I'm gonna post this comment. This is good. Yes, this is what we're doing. So first week juices and smoothies. Second week, no. So I'm doing 3 weeks. I'm doing 3 weeks leading into the new year. First week juices and smoothies. Second week juice and coconut water, and then third week back to smoothies. So I'm gonna go ahead and hide that. But thanks for that question. Okay, so what are some of the, just to go through some of the symptoms of fasting? I take it for granted. I've done this. This has been almost a lifetime, within a lifetime of doing this, so I can often forget when somebody is new to this. But typically, as far as the amount of juice, I would say at least a half gallon to a gallon. And even that, maybe you need a gallon just those first couple days. Just to, sometimes it's just mental, psychological. It's like, oh man, I'm hungry, da da da. Just to get you over that hump. But it's just gonna allow you to urinate more, which is not a bad thing. But at least a half gallon should be good, up to a gallon. Headache is probably the most common symptom. And again, I call it the hungry headache. It's a wonderful thing. Any of these symptoms you want to embrace. That's one of the things, like, I think we should really, just have this mindset to look forward to. Not that you want it to happen, but it's something that you can really embrace. You can really say, wow, I feel the chills, or I feel a headache. It's not gonna stay there. And if it does, embrace it. And there's some things that I'll talk about next, as far as what to do if you have that headache, or if you have that extra tiredness, fatigue. uh I think probably some of the strongest symptoms you can have is nausea. And what would even be really good and really powerful is if it even got to, because usually the nausea, you may need to vomit, and then the other channel may need to open up too, diarrhea. And again, it's like the body just opening up the channels. It's just opening up in both directions, and allowing the channels, allowing whatever it needs to let go, let go. We don't need to bring that into the new year. Okay, so that's that. The other thing is the white tongue. um Professor Eric mentions it as the magic mirror. So so that's another thing that's going to be powerful. If you have some books on fasting, if you have some like Professor Eric is Mucus Diet Healing System. He also has another book called Rational Fasting. I mean, his writing and his delivery and the way is very powerful. It's very inspiring. Those are two books that come to mind, especially Rational Fasting. Mucus Diet Healing System is a classic book. Um, Shout out to Professor Spira. I believe I'm saying his name right. You can follow him on Instagram. He is like reissued those books under his name. And so just continuing the good work. Again, classic material work that is again very powerful information. But he talks about the mucus, and how one of the things is during the time you want to keep looking at your tongue, especially in the morning. Now, if your tongue is white throughout the day, that's letting you know that you got some work to do. When you really start to level up, it should only be in the morning, and then even then, it should really be. I mean, my tongue. I don't remember when my tongue gets white. I don't. Yeah, my tongue rarely gets white, even in the morning. So, but I've been doing this for a long time. So, but it's if it does, it just letting you know. It's just letting you know what's going on internally, and how the body is able to use those residue. Because basically, mucus is a blessing. Mucus is not an enemy. It's not something that is attacking us. It is our protection. And what ends up happening is that along with the mucus, along with the storage in the fat tissues, that's because everything we eat, the body wants to store, or some of it wants to store for the famine. If the famine were to happen, we have sort of we have something that we can feed on. And that's essentially what's happening, especially after that third day. So you definitely, this is a beautiful time the best time of the year. We get past that third day hump. It could be the first day, second day, or the third day. But once you get past them 3 days, the desire to eat should go away. And then once you go into your prayer, your meditation, your quiet time, you should be levitating at this point. That's what we're working towards. We're working towards levitation. All right. What are some of the things we could do to alleviate some of the symptoms? Now, some people may have these symptoms that I mentioned. Normally, what I found is that the symptoms, will be could be pretty intense for usually a day. Usually after 24 hours, you should have again, once you are able to sleep. Let's say on a particular day you got a really strong headache or you're feeling nauseated. A lot of times it's like, look, just see it through. The body, trust the body and what it's doing, because it's healing. And you've been traumatizing it for your entire life. So it's going through is this beautiful healing crisis. And once you go through, usually by the next day, so a lot of times you just need to rest. You get that rest time in, and that next day you feel brand new. Now let's just say, okay, the next day you don't feel brand new. One of the best things you could do, and this is something that everyone should do anyway. This is one of my favorite things to do, especially when fasting, is to do a hot Epsom salt bath, or just to have your bath salts. That you can have them. Lavender is very popular, but any of your scented bath salts or just regular Epsom salt is in a nice hot bath while fasting. I like to take mine in the morning because it just gives me a nice little pump, especially if I'm feeling cold. And that's another thing. I mean, for those of us that live in these temperate, these seasonal change environments, if anything is a drawback, that's the drawback. That this is, the temperature. I mean, the temperatures. I mean, being here in Washington D.C. have been. I mean, I think we had a cold week a couple weeks ago. I mean, today it was up in the 50s. It's not anything like super intense. When we see the highs in the 30s and then overnight it's in the 20s or the teens or even lower, then then it can get a little intense. And because we don't have, like again, the blood is light, so you're going to feel extra cold. So that hot bath is going to be nice. So yes, the hot bath is it's almost like it's the one all be all for getting through the cold time and doing the fast, or if you're going through any symptoms. All right, because what's happening with the bath is like, and this is different than taking a hot shower. Taking a hot bath, submerging your body into the water, and then soaking in that water. Huge difference. A huge difference. And once you're in rhythm, there's certain things we want to not do, and there's certain things we want to do. So all of us are connected to media in some way, whether it's social media, whether it's mass media. We want to either eliminate that or put yourself on a very limited schedule. If you can eliminate that for the whole entire time, that is wonderful. That should be the goal. So we want to eliminate all media. I mean, other than the time that I come on to talk about this, this is the time to, because I'm going to be coming on. I want to come on at least twice a week. Like every Saturday is a good time for me, but then maybe there's a time in the middle of the week, like Wednesday or Thursday. I guess you'll turn on your notifications, and you'll be notified when I come on the next time. So that's something we want to do, is eliminate the media. We want to just really eliminate or limit anything that is overly stimulative, period. So whether it's the electricity, just having quiet. Again, this is dark time. It should be getting dark like around 4 or 5 o'clock, and that's a good thing. It's not a time. I know some people like the lights, the Christmas lights, and that's cool. But understand that, if you're not into that, great. If you are into that, find a way to, have your room, have some time to, really get into your quiet time and your dark time. That dark energy. We really want to really go into that. Um, yes, as far as exercise, really this is not the time for exercise either. If anything, if you want to take a walk during the day, that is something that'd be great to do. This is not a time to really start to try to break some records or anything. This is just the opposite. This is the time for like ultimate rest on all levels. This is a time for recharge. It's not a time to like really trying to, um, again, just be out, like doing the most. We want to, really limit it to walking. Walking is always great. Fresh air. Again, this is the time, even if it's colder or cooler outside, just dress, get your layers on, and especially if the sun is out, we want to get as much sun as we can, even though this is the time where the sun is at its weakest. We want to get as much of that sun as possible, grounding, earthing, nature, taking a nice walk through the park, just communing and connecting with nature. We have so much noise and so much lights and so much artificial stimulation. We've tuned nature out completely. We've tuned out our connection with wild animals, insects. There's a whole nother world within our world that we don't know about, that we don't connect with, that we don't that we it doesn't matter. It's almost like it's a nuisance. It's something that is needs to be controlled, something that we certainly don't connect with. This is the time to really respect that, and really honor, what's around us. Even no matter what city you live in, there's nature around you. There's parks. There's woods. There's opportunities to to connect with that. All right, so yeah, that was pretty much it for what I wanted to talk about tonight. Yeah, so there are some questions that I saw. um So I will address those. Yes. So this is my sister from Bahamas. Peace and love to you and your family. Celine's Place. If you're ever in the Bahamas, you want to look her up. She is connected with the health and healing community out there. She has invited me there a few times. I've always loved the Bahamian family. Yeah, so I have a question. My mom has multiple myeloma. I was wondering if this is I was wondering if this is a good protocol for her at this time. Oh, 100%. 100%. You know, this is healing time, you know, and for anyone that is being challenged with any type of condition, cancer, any type of you know, autoimmune disease or anything like that. You know, remember that, you know, our bodies are always trying to heal, and we've lost trust. You know, our whole medical insurance, uh, uh, industrial educational cartel, they all in bed together. They have really programmed us to not understand what our bodies are capable of doing. And you know, part of my mission and my job is not only to properly educate you and inspire you to what your body can do. We really look, I'm going to the next level. And so I'm gonna also share and hopefully inspire you to take yourself to the next and highest level. So when you're, you know, we're all, if we have issues and challenges with conditions, understand that, okay, it is our bodies doing, you know, that's essentially, these conditions develop to keep us alive. You know, the things that the lifestyle practices and the things that we've done, we've exhausted the body's ability to assimilate food properly. You know, when we overdo it with food, and not just food. You know, I talked about this last time. You know, just really being connected to everything in our physical reality. So it could be it's the food is the foundation. That's why I say, like, if you want to live a high quality spiritual life, fasting has to be front and center. That's the foundation layer for a high quality spiritual life is fasting. And then on top of that is our spiritual life. You know, because, you know, as I mentioned before, you know, there are attributes that, you know, either we start to connect more with the physical reality. See, when we connect more with the physical reality and the beast is in charge, then we start to look for stimulants, aka drugs, even if they're herbal stimulants. Again, the solution is, at least the first solution, the first and the last solution is to trust the body and what it's doing, because the sickness is the healing. You know, it's the response to the conditions, and it's not just the food per se, but when the mind is also being taken over, because the mind is saying, well, I could still eat what I want to eat because I need to feed the beast, but then I'm gonna take this along with continue to eat what I want to eat. So what ends up happening is that now we start to connect with the drama of life. And that further sends us down and down the rabbit hole of the physicality of life. That life is all physical, that it's all of this 3D physical representation of life, of our world, that's it, and that's how we need to deal with it, and that's how we're going to solve it. And if you choose to do that, then great, but it ain't going to be so great, because it's gonna lead to trauma. It's gonna lead to trauma 100% of the time, until you realize that you go beyond this physical, you go beyond this 3D, that there's another level, there's another dimension to you, and you can only get that from going within. And unfortunately, I say fortunately, unfortunately, because it is traumatic, and trauma needs to happen, and it's not fun to go through, but it's fortunate. But as they say, the best of time is the worst of time, and the worst of time is the best of times, because it takes the worst of times to get you to understand that, look, you could try everything and do everything, but you got to understand, you got to get the essence of who you are. So when the doctors don't have nothing for you, say, look, we've done everything. What left is there for you to do? Well, it's for you to go within and imagine the impossible, to understand that we're magical, mystical beings, that we are incapable of making miracles and magic happen. Magic and miracles and miracles and magic. See, I'm about that magic and miracle life. And it starts with fasting. And if we could believe in the miracles, we could believe in the magic, then the magic and the miracle could start to happen. But if we stuck in this 3D, it's trauma. Trauma, 100%. Guaranteed. So I'm gonna get into that in the next. I'm gonna get into that in the next. I don't want to give too much of that away, but it's so inspiring, and that's one of the things. We gotta, if I'm talking to anybody, especially somebody that has cancer, I'm looking at them, I'm feeling them, I'm talking to them as if, like, how can you feel right now as happy as you want to be, as joyful? I mean, we discussed it last time, to the point where your physical expression, what's the highest elevated emotion, the highest physical proof that you are at an elevated emotion? And it's tears. What would it take to bring yourself to tears? Tears of joy, happiness, that elevated energy. It's very powerful. Disease can't exist. So I'm gonna get into that. That's gonna be part 2. That was just a preview, because I'm really excited. I've been working on it, and I'm gonna really talk about our what we know as chakras, but our we can also look at them as each of them being like their own individual brain, from the crown to the throat to the heart, all the way down to the root. These are energy centers, and these are powerful to understand when we bring into, when we go into our quiet creation time. And that's why I say this is the most powerful information, because who else is telling you about this particular time, this being the most powerful time to do these types of practices. This is ancient wisdom information. The powers that be, trust me, they know, they understand, and they're doing these things. That's what keeps them at high positions of power, because they understand that we're spiritual beings. We don't. We give our power away. But one thing I do want to say is that when we really start to connect with our highest emotions, one of those being love, right? If we use love as an example, love is obviously right up there. It may be at the top, and let's just say it is, right? Just for the sake of what I'm about to say next. If we take love and we say, in reference to God, we say, how strong does God love, right? Unconditionally, unconditionally at the highest level. Why can't we do that as individuals? Why can't we have that high vibrational love, right? When we start to practice that, we start to bring that into our quiet meditation prayer time, along with the fasting. There's nothing that we're not capable of doing. If we're full with the love energy, right? Magic and miracles, that's nothing. We can do anything, right? Because like, again, we're practicing something that is godlike, right? If God is unconditional love, and if we're practicing love on a God level, then we become that. So now when we start to transform ourselves on that high level, that high vibration, the physical reality becomes at our beck and call. The disease, that was something to wake us up. That was something to challenge us to say, make the impossible possible. So that's all our challenges and setbacks come to us. They have to come to us. See, when we start to embrace, like, thank you for bringing these bills to me. I don't know how I'm going to pay them. Thank you. Right? When we can start paying our bills with a big grin on our face, we can start forgiving. We can start embracing the disease. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to show what I'm capable of doing. Because I'm here to create the impossible. I'm here to make magic and miracles impossible possible. This right here, these next 3 weeks, the strongest creation miracle magic time. Our problems are blessings. They are blessings in disguise. They are to show us what we are made of. We love the drama, as I've said. We're here for the drama. We don't go to a movie unless it's dramatic. We love the drama. But then we create our own movie drama. We don't need to go to the movies. We don't need to turn on Netflix. We're creating our everyday drama. So if you at that stage where you gotta come up out of your drama, and people love to hear, oh, people love the success story. People love, yes, I was homeless, yes, I had this, I had stage 4 cancer, I was able to heal myself. People become so inspired because what that person made the impossible possible. So this is that time. This is that time of the year. This is why this is my favorite time of the year. It's a time to reflect on the past year. This is the, and also a time to create. But when we can just feel so happy, so joyed, it even brings tears. A shift takes place. Transformation then happens. It's a beautiful thing. All right. So let's leave it there. I will be back in a few days. That's my promise. That's my wish and promise. We're going to keep building on this narrative. We're going to create and go within, get quiet, use this feeling machine. This is a feeling machine, right? It's not about trying to tame it. We're here to feel joy. We're here to feel love, peace, hope, faith, and it can be elevated, like it can be ecstasy. But we're gonna really get into that next time. I'm gonna really prepare for that next time. But yes, we're gonna leave it there. Wow, that time went by so fast. I said 30 minutes. We almost at an hour. So this is perfect. Thank you again. I love you. I'll take care, and I will see y'all in a few days. Peace and love.